Fala galera, eu sou Igor Miranda e o entrevistado da vez é RYAN PEAKE, guitarrista do NICKELBACK. A banda lançou recentemente um novo álbum chamado Rollin e esse disco, é claro, vai ser o grande fio condutor da conversa que você vai assistir a seguir. Mas além de falar sobre essas novas músicas e sobre o período de lockdown que acabou gerando esse disco, o gente boníssima Ryan falou sobre vários outros assuntos. Um deles é o plano de fazer uma turnê celebrando o álbum All the Right Reasons, aquele que tem Photograph, tem Far Away, tem Rockstar, só os hits. E nesse papo a gente também falou sobre guitarra, sobre Brasil, as passagens pelo Rock in Rio e até sobre thrash metal, indo de Testament até Nuclear Assault. Se liga!
Congratulations on the new album, Get Rolling. How do you feel about this record right now, just a few weeks after its release?
I'm happy it's out finally, as we all are when we make these things. So it's the anticipation of how it's accepted, and so far so good. I think the timing for us is strangely good. I think people are ready to hear some Nickelback again, so that's quite nice.
Yeah, and I can see that the previous album, Feed the Machine, it sounds heavier. It's like that was the big idea behind it. Now on Get Rolling, what was the big idea behind it? What was the concept or the type of music you wanted to create this time?
I don't think there was such a concerted effort as to what it should be. That was probably how about that was the effort, was there was no effort. That was the angle on this one. We had done No Fixed Address, which was very a bit more experimental than we normally do, and then Feed the Machine was back to rock. This one was kind of just back to what we normally do, in a sense of, you know, we like rock, we like melodic things. I mean, there's a kind of a southern rock country kind of song on there as well, to just try something new. So I think that was the angle on this, was to kind of go through some old ideas and see what we could put together during the pandemic. Also an interesting time to try to get together and make music. It was a little bit challenging, as I'm sure it was for a lot of artists. So if you're a solo artist, it's not so bad. As a group, it's tough to get things together.
Yeah, I can imagine. And even before the pandemic, you guys said in interviews that you wanted to record a new album, but the recordings only started last year, I guess. I don't know if I'm mistaken, but can we say that this album would not have been made if it weren't for the lockdown period?
I actually think you could say that. I agree. That, strangely enough, nobody's really talked about that. We had a tour planned in 2020, in the summer of 2020, to do, just starting in North America, the All the Right Reasons cover to cover tour. And when that got sidelined because of the pandemic, that's when we actually took some time away and then waited till we felt like going back into the studio. Because I think at that point we were like, you know, we didn't feel like in that creative headspace. That's why we were going back out with, you know, we wanted to go play for some people, and we thought it was good timing for the album concept of a tour. But we weren't in the right mind frame to write. So I think it was a bit of time off, which was nice in our minds. I think the last show we played was Rock and Rio in 2019. In
Yes.
October, I think. So that was the last show we played. This gave us for sure the opportunity to step back and go, what do we want to do here? Are we making more music? What are we doing? Like it was at that point where we needed to feel that pull back to the studio, and we did, as we started to enjoy taking some time away. And then we went, you know what? Everybody's very busy out there. It's time for us to get back to work. And so that's when we started in 2021.
Yeah, and you mentioned a tour celebrating All the Right Reasons. Am I right? You guys were supposed to do. Do you guys have any plans to do that tour? Because the anniversary is over, right? It was 2020, not anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're going to celebrate the 17th anniversary of anything. So, I mean, yeah, even the 15th anniversary might have been a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're definitely going to put that on the sidelines for a while. That was a means to an end, I think, at that point. And it would have been fun. We had a great, I mean, whatever concept you have at the time, you work your best at it. That we did have a nice fluid storyline that we were going to have. So we'll put a pin in that idea for maybe later, maybe the 25th, maybe, I don't know. What do you celebrate? 20th, 25th, something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
now about the album, you have co-writing credits on 2 songs, Those Days and Tidal Wave. Those Days is pure Nickelback, we can say. It was even released as a single, but on the other hand, Tidal Wave has almost an experimental feel, I guess, an interesting ambience, lots of reverb. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's a different song from Nickelback, of course. What was it like to write and record each of these 2 specific songs?
Yeah, in pertaining to this album, that's kind of what I meant when we approached this a bit differently, where Chad had other songs that he had written with other artists from years back or old songs, so we kind of cobbled it together. But when we could get together, that's when we came across Those Days. We left the city to go record that for about 10 days, and then it was downtown, and I got a phone call from Chad, and he's like, "Hey, we were just tracking some stuff. What do you think of this? We came up with this tonight, this strange idea." And he played it over the phone. I said, that's interesting. It doesn't really sound like a Nickelback song. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'll be right out. I'm driving to the studio right now. So that intrigued me, is because it was a bit more different. And I like the fact that we could be open to those different types of songs, I guess. And they feel different at the moment. I think they become a Nickelback song as soon as Chad starts singing. His voice is very distinctive, so maybe it seems similar to other people, but for us, it felt a bit of like a departure. So that's what really intrigued me with that. So we ran out and we got together in his studio and just started going out with lyrics, and everything's kind of water based and surf based with a dangerous relationship style thing. And it came together rather quickly. So yeah, it was an exciting song for everybody to work on. It's nice when those hit. Some songs take weeks to put together. That one came together relatively quickly.
Yeah, and another standout song is San Quentin, perhaps one of the heaviest of your career, along with some songs from the previous album, Feed the Machine. What do you remember about the writing and recording process of that song?
So San Quentin, yeah, I mean, definitely we put out a rock song first, usually on our albums. And it may have been, I think it was a bit misleading for a lot of people initially when they heard it. They're like, oh, this is going to be a heavy album. Oh my God, it's going to be heavy. That's the internet. That's everybody else running with the narrative. And we were like, whoa, hang on. It's just wait. It's going to be, we're trying to make it well-rounded. But yeah, Chad, this was a year or so before I think things kind of shut down. He was at a birthday party, and yeah, somebody had introduced him to the warden of San Quentin, and it was very deceiving how young he was, I guess. So Chad, he didn't really quite believe that it was usually speaking to the warden, but as he got in the conversation, it was very clear that yes, he was. And he just, I don't know, he has a fascination with jail and incarceration. And so, I mean, I think he's had a bit of a checkered past when he was growing up. So there's something that fascinated him about that. So he just kind of quickly typed down on his computer and his phone, San Quentin is a great title of the song. I then morphed it into a more lighthearted, in a sense, party song. That if things go poorly, you can end up in handcuffs at the end of the night, which I think some people can relate to. I know he probably can relate to that for sure. So, so that's kind of where it came from. And we always want to put best foot forward. And for us, a good, just intense rock tune, rock riff is a good place for us to start. So that's why we led with it.
Yeah. And I can imagine that you are like every guitarist in the sense of enjoying solos, of having the guitar in the front. But Nickelback is a very conscious band in the sense of working more for the sake of music than for solos and instrumental performance. However, I'm a little curious about that. Are you the guy that has your solos removed, or would you be the first to say that certain songs need to be shorter and without flashy solos and stuff like that?
I think we both like Chad is I don't do the solos, the odd little bit. I'm not the virtuoso. I'm more of the rhythm guitarist songwriting component of this band. That being said, you know, I did sneak in an instrumental into the last album of the Betrayal Act 1. Which was fun for me to do. It was something we'd never done before, so that I do like doing. But no, it's nice to just have. We both enjoy just riff-driven songs. They don't have to be the flashy. That's never really been us. That being said, Chad can pull off some pretty great solos sometimes, for sure. And his solo at San Quentin is fantastic. But he's also very generous in the sense where he leaves room for other things in the song to shine, and even room for other artists. In Skinny Little Missy, the next song is Ian Thornley playing the solo on that song, which is, as soon as I heard it, it was just a different style. I'm like, that's somebody else. I think, who is that? And I'm like, he's like, that's Ian. I'm like, that's who it is. I'm like, he's fantastic as well. He's a really great guitar player. He's played a few features on our albums. He played the slide solo in Good Times Gone, I think, from Silver Side Up. I don't know. I can't even remember it anymore. So he's been around here and there, but it just depends on the feel of the song, whether we feel it deserves a solo or needs a break, or if it's just maybe it's a breakdown of the riff or the chords, and it's a vocal feature at that point. I don't like having that it has to be a solo every time, but yeah, when we feel the need, we do drop one in for sure.
Yeah, I have two quick questions because our time is running out. One is about Brazil, because you guys gained a lot of new fans the 2 times you played at Rock in Rio Festival in 2013 and 2019. But not only because it's a huge festival, but also because it was broadcast on TV all over Brazil. Nickelback is a very tight band live, and many people in Brazil who said they disliked the band, they discovered, like watching TV, that you guys are good. For many, Nickelback is even better live than on records. Do you agree with that? Do you believe that Nickelback is maybe different live?
Who am I to disagree with the people of Brazil? All right, if they think we're better live, I'm great with that. You know, honestly, that's something we've taken a lot of pride in our whole career, because it can feel like early on, it can feel like it's a bit of it's a double-edged sword. They go, I like your album, but you sound better live. And then you go, thank you. Do you not like the album? Or you like us better live? You know, or what's the counterpoint? Oh, you sound better on the album than live. So I'll take that every time, and I do appreciate that. But we've been a live band. That's what we do. That's where we started. We're a live rock band as well. I think we're heavier live than some people would imagine. So when and I'm not sure what necessarily has become popular on the radio in Brazil. I know of certain songs and whatnot, but with the internet, it can be kind of all over the place. But what usually goes on the radio previous to streaming were the more melodic songs and not always the rock songs. So it's usually been a surprise as to how much rock we play live, and maybe that's exciting for people to come watch live. I'm very happy to provide that, and I'm happy to keep doing that. So that's a very nice compliment if that's how people in Brazil feel.
Awesome. And just a fun and quick last question. I spoke with Mike in 2019, and we also talked about the possibility of Nickelback recording a heavy covers album. I know that you are a huge Slayer fan, but if this idea ever becomes a reality, and Mike loves the idea, I must say, what other bands would you vote to cover, to pay tribute in a heavy covers album?
That's interesting. You know, it's funny. I mean, you're a journalist. You know how these things work. You say something off the cuff, kind of just, and then we're making a Slayer's album. The Slayer album. Oh no, now we're making a Slayer and Meshuggah album. You know, maybe Sepultura. I'll do a Sepultura album. You know, yeah. So that's a good question. I mean, we all grew up listening to metal and rock music. Just straight down the middle rock. Mike always leaned heavier. He liked really, really heavy music. And whereas I liked metal, but I liked melody as well. I mean, I love Megadeth. I think Megadeth is a fantastic. They've got like, if I would like to do some Megadeth songs, to be perfectly honest. But my God, that guy, I remember reading an article years back. He said, Dave Mustaine likes writing riffs that are hard to play and sing at the same time. That's what he enjoys. That would be very frustrating for me because that makes it very difficult to do it. So maybe we would split up the duties. It's like, I want to do it, but I don't want to put that much work into it. It's like, I don't want to become Megadeth. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think some Megadeth songs would be great. Metallica songs, obviously, they sound great. Testament, I enjoyed Old Testament stuff, and I mean, Anthrax is what we grew up listening to, amongst other things. I don't know, Nuclear Assault. I mean, their cover of Good Times, Bad Times was fantastic. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's one of those things where, you know, we might pull a little surprise here and there. I don't think it would be unexpected if we did that. Like, we can go from playing a very melodic song. I mean, we could play Rockstar, which is damn near a country song, and then play, you know, something heavy from Megadeth. Might be believable. Keep your ears open. You never know.
Yeah, I'll pay attention to that. But I think that's it. Thank you so much, Ryan. I wish you the best, and looking forward to see you guys in Brazil.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.